Hi friends, in the last few videos what we had seen is the mathematical concept of K-NN algorithm, and what we did, what I committed is in the next few sessions we will see the implementation part of it. So today we have arrived at a junction wherein we have a choice to be made. There are two paths which are diverging. Path number one, which is the most simple path of implementing it or implementing a K-NN algorithm using a simple Python. The path number two is choosing one of the platforms. Can be a AWS platform or a ML Studio in Azure or even a GCP. Now in this video what we will focus is why we need to choose or why this decision point and what are the components which are involved in building a machine learning model and how do you view it, right? So if you are a beginner who is just interested in implementing few of the algorithms, getting a hang of it, go for the simplest path, the Python based path. There are inbuilt libraries like NumPy, Matplotlib, SciFiKit, which will do most of the heavy lifting for you. You can implement a KNN probably in a few minutes and get away with it. But if you have a vision, like you want to become an entrepreneur who builds a mathematical model and makes it available to the businesses, then you need to focus on three main components of a machine learning model. The number one will be the build, which exclusively focuses on gleaning the data from different sources and cleansing it. In any machine learning model, 60% or more work goes in this phase, wherein you bring the data, clean it and make it available as training data and testing data. The skill set which is required in this phase is more on data related, which is like ETL, big data things. It's a data analyst role. This will be more of a CPU intense exercise. The subsequent phase or the next phase will be the train model. The training is where the actual algorithms comes into picture, wherein a data scientist will sit and analyze saying that this is the problem statement. I have so much of data. So what type of algorithm should I put into use and what combination can be used? Certain times it is more than one algorithm, one feeding into the other, which technically we call it as ensemble model. Here from a hardware perspective, it is a GPU intense exercise. Number three, now you have built, you have trained, you will be doing a deployment. Now this model is hosted in a cloud and it is made available to your end devices like mobile devices or web browser through an API protocol, and you get the predictions. Here the skill set required is your normal software integration skills, relatively easier, but all these three skills are required to host a model. Now if your focus and concentration is all building and tuning a model, right, you shouldn't get diverted on the underlying infrastructure, because you are going to deal with terabytes of records, whereas in the simple Python base you will be downloading probably a data set from Kaggle which has 10,000 or 50,000 records. Here you are talking about terabytes. So the amount of tuning which is required, the iteration which is required, the type of machines which is required is mind-boggling. That is when this platforms comes into picture. If you choose one of the platform, it abstracts you from all these underlying requirements and helps you to focus on the main task, which is building the right model for your business objective, right? So depending upon what is your midterm and long-term vision, you need to make the decision of going with a simple Python based path or a platform based path. In addition, as the industry evolves, regulation also kicks in, and some of this platform, they invest in making the regulatory compliance with it. For example, healthcare, a heavily regulated industry, has a compliance called HIPAA. Now, if you are going to do some model around healthcare app, then you need to also focus on the HIPAA compliance. But if you get on to AWS, for example, right, it is pretty easy because they have a service called HIPAA. You can just extend the service, and that will do, or that will take care of all the requirements for the meeting the HIPAA compliance. So these are few added advantages, but it also comes with a cost. When you use all this model, they are not free of cost. SageMaker in AWS is a paid service. It depends on how much machine you use, how much memory you use. You can optimize it, but definitely there is some amount of payment involved in it, right? And comparison between these platforms is inevitable. Azure, if you are not that comfortable in coding, it's a drag and drop. AWS, not the case. You need to do a little bit of coding, either in Python or R, depending on wherever you are comfortable, especially on the very first segment, which is the data cleansing part, right? And these platforms are also evolving. What I mean by that is, there are certain operations which still in the very nascent stage when you make use of SageMaker, but as we progress, we can see that those services are evolving, and you need not excessively worry about implementing an algorithm, because all these algorithms are inbuilt. You just need to call them, and you focus on getting the right results. And if you are very particular, saying that no, there is some amount of customization needed, how do I just rely on inbuilt algorithms? They allow it. You can make all your customization and put it as a Docker image, and that image, when it hooks onto your model, it will execute your customized code. So it's not like it is not doable, but you need to make a choice of going purely the full-fledged implementation on your own, wherein you take care of the hardware, you focus on all the compliance. Here the platform does the heavy lifting for you, you stay focused on your code, right? So that is the message which I wanted to share through this video. In the next video, what we'll see is we will take a AWS SageMaker, which is, again, as I said, is a machine learning service from Amazon. We'll take a problem statement and we'll solve it using k-NN algorithm. The code will be available in the GitHub, and the prerequisite for the video is you should have a AWS login credentials. AWS gives you a free option for a period of 12 months from the day you log in, and many of the services are covered under the free services, not all, but it does a really good job in telling you that, okay, this is not a free service, so you need not be worried about it. And the other prerequisite, apart from having AWS credential, is having a basic idea of what is an S3, which is your simple storage wherein you can put certain objects. So that is for the next session. Hope now you know why we are taking this path. If you have any questions, feel free to comment, and you can approach me through queryshammy@gmail.com. Thank you. Have a nice day.